Hello, my name is Sean Malding, and I'll be talking about the paper Life's Too Short, using narrative and second person to explore coming out. I wrote this paper as part of an autoethnography methods course I took with the wonderful Craig Gingrich Philbrook, known warmly as CGP or Craig. We were assigned the paper, and the requirements were very open, which can be daunting. But as it turns out, it was a pretty freeing experience getting to see my own life and the experiences I had with coming out as something with academic merit. And so I'm going to give a brief overview of the paper. I'll talk about my intent for the work, and then I'll read some for you as an example of what I was attempting. For the brief overview, this paper is written in 6 parts: Sacramento Pride, LA Pride, shorts, venturing out, being out, and I missed one. If I haven't said San Francisco Pride, that's the one. All the Pride events are longer sections, and they give the situation and the connections related to the Pride events and exploring identities through them. Venturing out in short are more short stories that helps to provide a variety of different situations to one section. Oh, yeah, I said it would be a brief overview, and there it was. So we'll move on to the intent. I spent my childhood from 4 to 12 years old in Florence, Alabama, with my younger sister, older brother, and my single but very supportive mother. In California, we had a supportive dad and a stepmom. And when after 12, we moved to California, and my mother remarried to a into an incredibly supportive stepdad. We weren't particularly religious, but it was just in the culture of this country where we were living, and indeed everywhere in the 1990s and beyond, that if you I knew that if I was anything besides cisgender and heterosexual, I had to hide. I had to hide part of who I am. Some of my earliest memories are of questioning my gender. Uh, and once I became aware of sexuality, I was questioning my sexuality. So when I was about 15, 16 years old, my very supportive mother began to tell me, it's okay if you're gay. If you're gay, that's fine. I'll still love you. I'd love a gay son. Ah, I just honestly, at any point, I would expect her to jump out of a bush and just say, I love you, my gay son. She had good intentions. She did. And I am bisexual, not gay. And so I could tell her, plus I was deeply closeted, I'm not gay. I know it's cool to be gay, but I'm not gay. That's to illustrate I was accepted by my family for the most part. I was accepted by my friends, and I knew most of my friends would be perfectly cool with my being bisexual. Uh, some of my friends were in the LGBTQ communities, and I'm also aware that I was very lucky in that coming out would not have caused me to risk everything. It would not have put me in a dangerous situation. And so you might be tempted to ask, what's the holdup? Why didn't I come out? But it just wasn't that easy, as I'm sure, you know, I'm not the only one who knows that. But this paper explores the moments of tensions that arrive when I'm confronted with that door, so to speak. Why can't I just step out? Even knowing I'll be accepted and knowing that I'd be safe. Initially, I wanted this to be a choose your own adventure story. I wanted it because that would be fun to write, fun to read, different than what I'm used to reading. And also because ultimately I wanted this paper to help build empathy and understanding, or the very, at the least some understanding. If you can't reach empathy. But as I kept going, I realized this paper was great for me because it allowed me to look back and try to understand the decisions that I was making. I still wanted it to be for building empathy or understanding, and so I present the situations and the options in second person. I've since come to realize not everybody likes second person, but for me, it was helpful. So let's now turn to some examples. I'm going to start with two shorts. Now, this one's called White, but it's white shorts. When I was more comfortable pretending short shorts were part of my masculine identity, I purchased a pair of short shorts from a thrift store by my mother's house. They were pretty short and did nothing for my butt. On the second day I wore them, a neighbor kid looked at them and said, "You're wearing those again." Moments later, my mother suggested I not wear them. This next one is called Phobic. I went to a thrift store with my older brother and purchased a few items. I like to believe my drag style would be B. Arthur inspired, so I looked around for that. B. Arthur was not to live again that day, but I did find a comfortable outfit I believe would be worn by Indian women and a pair of short shorts. I wore the short shorts out, not knowing just how terrifying they were. A few young teens saw me wearing them to the car. It became so homophobic, xenophobic, that they yelled the word, it's that long F word, starts with an F, ends with a T, at me from across the parking lot. I wish I had kept my cool, but I yelled at the kids. I like the shorts, the section, because it brings in more information to help with the decision making. Shows that there are people involved and that people aren't that simple. Sometimes the sweetest ones don't know the effect that they can have. This next part I'll read is from the section LA Pride. You're about to argue with your brother, and you need to choose the setting. LA Pride. I've been told that after you get a tattoo, you immediately want another. There's a rush to it that brings you back to the chair. I can't speak for that, but I can speak for the rush of pride. 7 days after Sacramento, I was arguing with my brother over who gets to use my grandmother's car. As I write this, I can't remember whether we were at his girlfriend's house or home at our grandma's house, so I'll let you decide. This will be a choose your own setting. Choice A, we're arguing at his girlfriend's house. Go to scenario A. Choice B, we're arguing at home at our grandmother's house. Go to scenario B. Scenarios. Scenario A, you've chosen to argue at his girlfriend's house. You're standing downstairs in a game room, just off the living room in your brother's girlfriend's house. Your brother and his girlfriend are sitting close together on the long black sectional lining the wall. You don't know her very well, nor do you know her family very well. This might be your first time over there in your entire life. Within hearing distance are her parents, her younger sister, and her younger brother. The dad is probably sitting right next door watching Rachel Maddow. They are a progressive family, so again, you're confident that you will be accepted, but you're still not ready to be out, even out as questioning. As someone who can be awkward around people, this is not ideal. Your brother wants to use the car for convenience. His girlfriend has a car, but she needs it for work. If you drive away, he'll have to spend the day sitting around the bagel shop where she works. If you use the car, you can attend LA Pride using the ticket you already purchased impulsively. At this point, your involvement with LA Pride remains impulsive. As a result, you have to convince your brother to let you take the car without giving any reason at all as to why this is important. You can't even tell him you're volunteering because you bought the ticket. If you can go, you'll need her parents to print it out for you. Don't forget to ask her mother. You just tell him it's important to you. Why? Because it was fun and I want to help the communities. You just went to Pride. Ryan, it's important to me. You let the silence morph into whatever understanding his brain will forge so long as it's convincing. You're aware of the entire family you don't really know listening around you as you try to argue quietly. Scenario B, you're sitting on an old gray couch in the garage. It's an exceedingly comfortable couch despite the sagging cushions and despite aging the couch with decades, not years. It's a peaceful moment in a happy place. You, impulsively, because impulse is what brings you to Pride, purchased a one-day ticket to LA Pride. Now you need to use your grandmother's car. Fortunately, your brother already has plans for tomorrow, the day of Pride. You don't have friends or a romantic partner, so no other option exists for you besides Grandma's car. He asks where you're going. You can't tell him. It's not fair to him to hold on to this now, but not too long ago, while pumping gas after bowling with friends, he asked if I had a crush on someone. He said he'd feel a lot better if I could tell him I had a crush on a girl. Years later, in this comfortable space, peaceful moment, and happy place, you can't come out. It isn't the place. Why not? It isn't the people. So many of their friends are gay men. This is where you spend most of your time. Coming out is more than sexuality to you. Coming out, you believe, will change how people see you. There isn't a couch comfortable enough just yet for you to come out. All you can say is that it's important to help the communities. I'm happy with the paper and how it turned out. I've been in college since 2010. I've written a lot of papers. This one I like. I'm thankful for Craig for letting me test the waters of what was for me experimenting with a new form. I I'll end with saying we need more empathy, more understanding, and if this paper can contribute to that, then it will have been a success. But I'm interested to know any thoughts that you have on here. I thank you for listening. Thank you.